Hey, Brian and Dusty back here with Chasing the Pack. How you doing today, Dusty?
I'm doing great. How are you, Brian?
I'm doing awesome. Awesome. We got some very quick topics to get to today, but we're going to hit, the rankings. We're going to hit the FHSAA schedule. We're going to hit everything. So I'm super hyped for that.
Absolutely. So which one you want to start with first?
Let's start with the FHSAA. Let's start with them. We had Alex last week. You talked to him. You got the insider scoop. What's going on?
So what a lot of people don't understand, well, let me back up. I saw an article and I saw comments on the article, and basically it stinks because Belen Jesuit this year is going to have to decide between the high school state meet and Nike South Region qualifier. And a lot of people were saying, oh, it's FHSA's fault. And while they are the host, as far as putting on the state championships, it's not 100% their decision. Uh, they work with Visit Tallahassee, and Visit Tallahassee has held other events at that same park, or at the same course,
Yep.
Appalachian Parkway.
Yep.
And so, like, one year they had to move the state meet back because they were hosting the National Junior Championships. But the main reason, or the main factor in all of it, is the FSU football team. So FSU football, everybody wants to go to those games. Maybe not last year. Uh, and that's coming from a Florida State fan. But if it's a good year, if it's 2013, late in the season, it's still a pack game. So what happens is the hotel room rates go up, and the FHSA takes that into consideration. They don't want you to have to pay more, more for your rooms than you have to. And traditionally, they've always held the cross country championships the second to third week of November. There's been a couple years where they moved it forward to the first week of November, and then all the coaches complained because it moved the whole season forward. So they had less weeks, training, all that good stuff.
Yep.
So
And
they
how that
try and
goes.
do it. What's that?
I said I know how that goes.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And for a coach with this training cycle, you want it to be right, and you shorten the season by 1 week, and that's a big deal. But what they've done this year is they moved it back a week. So I believe it's the fourth weekend in November. Well, last year, I think Nike was already like the same weekend, but now it's the same day.
Wow.
So that causes an issue. Um, I just want everybody to know, like, it's not 100% the FHSA making that decision. It's the FHSA and Visit Tallahassee trying to make it work best for their schedule and the Visit Tallahassee schedule. So there's only been, I think, 2 times where we've done on a Friday, and then the state championships being held on a Friday.
Wow.
And then the coaches complained about that because then you're driving up on Thursday for the schools that are further away. So you're missing Thursday and Friday versus just the drive up on Friday to have the meet on Saturday. So, you know, maybe give the FHSA a little bit of slack. And this also really only affects every year 1 to 2 teams. If we move the season forward, that affects everybody.
Yep.
But if we move the season back, unfortunately, Belen has a tough decision this year as the eighth consecutive year of potentially being a state champion. And I think they've won the South region at Nike for 2 or 3 years now as well. So,
Yeah.
I mean, tough decision. Um, I know Coach Frankie and all the other coaches there and all the boys. They'll take everything into consideration, and they'll make the right decision for them. So we wish them good luck on their season. I'll actually see them at the horse park. Excited. Their parents are the best. They're always
Oh wow.
crazy. Oh yeah, their parents are always on the sidelines, noisemakers, and all kinds of stuff. So love the Belen parents coming up and hanging out with us in Ocala. Um, so, did you know about the FHSA and all that, like as a coach, or?
I just found out about that yesterday. Someone was talking to me about it and asked me about it and said, "Hey, you guys should talk about this." And I said, "Somehow I feel like that's going to come up for sure. Like that's a thing."
Right,
Um, I mean, when I was in high school, the prom fell on the same day as the state meet. And
right,
that was it was just track, so who cares about it, right? But that kind of stuff happened. Has happened regularly. I've known, when we were coaching high school, when I was coaching high school, we had people had things on certain days, and that's just kind of the name of the game. Honestly, you want to know what I think Belen should do?
Sure. What is BG's advice? BG's
Run the
advice.
JV at the state meet. They'll probably still win anyways, and then just run the varsity. Run your top 5 at Nike and win that. That's my
That
opinion.
that's a very good possibility. I mean, there's other strong teams in 3A, but that I mean, Belen is always deep with talent.
Oh yeah,
So, and even if they didn't win, a runner-up, a third-place finish would be phenomenal for
with a
them
JV team, that'd be
with the
wild.
JV team.
That would
So,
be very impressive. But I feel like they could pull it off. If anybody can, with how much depth they have, it's them. So,
absolutely, absolutely. Well, all right. Well, let's move on to the second topic,
all right,
and that is rankings.
let's do it.
Yes. So I see rankings on multiple websites, not just one, multiple websites,
Mhm.
and they're all timed based.
Yep,
I hate it.
it's
I don't
horrible.
like I don't like it. For the simple fact that I feel like coaches start going to certain courses looking for fast times. And I think that that could also kill a a mindset for an athlete that they're so stoked to go to this fast course and maybe they have a bad day, so then they feel like they're one shot to get that good time down, changes their ranking. And I feel like that could get into an athlete's head. I also don't like it because we're basing everything on times, and this is coming from a timer, probably not going to be very popular with other timers, but I wish they would get rid of the times in cross country and we'll just do places.
Wow.
I mean, I know that says a lot, but I mean, what are the times really there for other than to compare yourself year to year? I mean,
Yeah, I think there's some validity to having times in general, just for the sense of like recruiting purposes at the college level. But again, we don't even really look at cross country as much anymore because every course is different. We have a lot of people from out of state. Who knows what? I just was texting somebody the other day, somebody from another state the other day, trying to find out if a course was legitimate for another kid because it was a huge PR, right? So I'm like, well, what is? I don't know anything about it. So cross country is one of those things. If you didn't have time, it wouldn't really matter. Track too. I mean, and of course, everybody loves time, but obviously, place is more important than winning. But I think that's one of those things we just get lost in, especially as coaches and timers and everything else. Is the time, the time. We have to have the time, even though it's different on every single course. People get obsessed with that. Well, they ran this at Northport, so that means it really, that's a fast course, so it's only this. Or they ran this at the horse park, and it really means this. And we love
right,
to do that.
right. But what I like is back in the day we had pollsters,
Yep.
and those guys would take everything into consideration. They would take the weather, they would take the course, they would take multiple different factors into place in the ranking.
Yep.
So even though a kid may have had a slower time down in Miami, he beat everybody down in Miami, and a week earlier they were racing somebody up in Ocala or Jacksonville, and that team won their meet, but their times were a little bit faster, but you could still rank them ahead because
Yep.
you say, oh, well, you put those kids from Miami up in Jacksonville on a cooler day. Maybe it's raining, maybe they get that, nice rain chill for a cross country meet,
Yep.
and it cools them down, maybe packs the grass a little bit, maybe makes it muddy and they slow down. I don't know. But it's different. I think for rankings to really be considered like the Bible, not the Bible, that's too intense. Uh that's way too intense.
The
But maybe
gospel.
what's that?
You want the gospel of Dusty and Brian? Is that what we're doing?
Well, I'm just saying, like, if there was a ranking system for the courses, so
Yeah, that would be cool.
you go to Cecil Field, it's a golf course that's fast and flat, that's firm. All
Oh yeah.
right, that's your 10 speed scale. Then you go to something in Claremont where there's hills, or even Appalachian Parkway where there's the wall that you have to run up 2 times.
Yep.
That's like a 3. And just have a ranking system for the courses so that then coaches that don't go to all these different courses at least know where the course ranks, as far as toughness, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and that would be cool. That'd be something cool to have.
But I don't know. just I still think head to head is the best way to compare.
Of course it is.
And you said you were a pollster at one point, right?
Yeah, I did the 2A boys in 2014 and 15, I believe. And I think it was Doug Butler's first year at Satellite. I had them ranked 7th going into the state meet. He sent me a very finely worded email about how that was wrong and messed up. And then they got 7th. And I was like, there you go. I don't know what to tell you. That's how it goes sometimes. But I loved it. It was great. And again, you had people, parents, coaches, people emailing you like, oh man, how could you do this? It was fun for me because those messaging boards back then, the chats and stuff on certain websites. Oh my gosh, man, people went nuts over if the course was the right length, if it was this, if it was that. So that was always fun to me that you could do that. But that's another thing too, the course length. Sometimes some of these courses still aren't accurate 100%. They're measured with a GPS watch by the coach, so it's hard to get a feel for when it's not hard. It's easy to say that's short, and I think people struggle with that.
Well, and even other than, again, Appalachia Parkway, that's a permanent course, all the other courses in the state are made up the week of. I will my course every time, and it's always close, but it's always different.
Sure.
It might be 5,001 meters one year, it might be 5,010 meters the next year. It you can measure it the same day, the same course setup, and it's still going to be 2 to 3, 5, 6 meters off.
Sure.
So it's just trying to get that happy medium.
Oh yeah.
But at least the course. At least the courses will mostly stay the same.
Oh yeah,
So,
definitely.
but anyway, I like to know what the people think. So if they have any comments, please leave them on our YouTube channel. If you want to message me or Brian, feel free to do that by going to our website, runflorida.com, and click on the Chasing the Pack button. And there is a questionnaire you can fill out. Just your name, email, and what you want to say to us. Try and be nice if possible. But yeah, so let's hear what you have to say. You got any closing remarks for everything we talked about today?
No, I think that covers it. I think that we need to rank courses. That's what we need to do. That's what we're going to do. I'm going to go to every course this year in high school. I'm going to rank them all.
All right. Well, that's going to be very intense, but I wish you the best with that. I will not be doing that. I don't have that kind of time anymore. But glad you did. So.
Oh yeah, I'll tell my wife. Hold on, wait. I got bigger things to fry than 2 kids. You have to wait. You're gonna have to deal with it.
That's right. That's right. All right, Brian. Well, another show down, and look forward to next week. It will be a little delayed next week. I am taking my daughter to college, and we will not be back from Arkansas until Monday, so we won't be able to record on Monday like we normally do. But we'll try and get an episode in on, the questions you guys send us and the topics of choice next week.
Awesome, and congrats, Dusty. That's awesome, buddy. I hope you guys have a safe trip.
All right, thanks, man.
All right, have a good one.
You too.